So I know draft is something that we talk a lot about. Can you explain the idea behind draft and how you need to use it in a casting?
Sure. This is something that can be a little counterintuitive for a designer too.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that designers of parts understand this. Actually, for a shallower feature, a feature that isn't quite as tall or quite as high in the part, you actually require more draft.
Okay.
So the taller the feature gets, the deeper the mold gets, the less draft is actually required.
Interesting.
To make the part work properly in the casting process. So that's one thing to remember, and this table here on the slide helps with that. And of course, we use the draft to get the part out of the mold, and it also, the proper draft permits the mold to last as long as possible.
Okay.
And I like to think that there's almost never too much draft on a part that's cast. So you can use as much draft as you want. These are essentially minimums that we're recommending.
Okay. And like before, you can always machine away or add a flat surface or polish it down.
You bet. You bet. Yes.
What are the purpose of cord holes and how do you dimension them?
So some cord holes end up being final product if they just need a hole through the part for some type of breathing, type of thing.
Okay.
But occasionally the holes being cored can actually save time in the machining operation too. So when you core a hole, it will have some draft as well.
Okay.
And these are the recommended drafts for cored holes. And you'll have to, if you want a perfect square-sided hole, you will have to do some minimal machining after the part is cast.
Gotcha. So just for you guys to quickly understand what you're looking at, we're showing what a parting line, so the cope and drag, look like for a mold. So that's why you have two separate halves and you require draft, right?
Right, and we talked about the draft, and that's part of what's going on there, is that at that parting line, you want the draft to move away from the parting line so that the parts release accurately off the mold. And this is typical of a permanent mold casting where the parts will stay with the top mold, the cope, and they'll be ejected by pins from that cope, onto in this case, a plate that we move into place to catch the castings.
Okay.